Hi, I'm Anthony, and I have something to say about everything that's going on right now concerning the George Floyd movement, the Black Lives Matter, and just the continued racial injustice that's been going on in this country. There's a really cool story, a foundational story in Jewish and Christian scripture, and it's the story of captivity, of Jewish captivity in Egypt. And it's the story of Moses and him bringing God's people out of slavery in Egypt. Now, I'm not going to argue the historical correctness of the story or anything like that, but this is to all of my conservative, Christian, white, black, Hispanic, you name it, okay? This is for the people that are not suffering through this right now because they have a different culture, have been more, how do you say it? They're more affluent. God sent Moses in. Moses gave Pharaoh the warning, said, "Let my people go." He didn't listen. He sent the plagues. Then he took those people out of Egypt. He then gave them manna from heaven. He then gave them the law, what we now know as the Ten Commandments. He then got a little mad at them because they didn't listen or had already broken that law. And then we find out that, well, God didn't really get mad. Moses got frustrated. It took them years of wandering in the desert before they had sufficiently reestablished their culture to the degree that they could then establish a new nation we call Israel. Not once did God stop taking care of them or tell them the manna from heaven is going to be cut off if you don't take personal responsibility. The argument that some Americans are using, that blacks have been given the same level of opportunity, is akin to saying, let's expect you to know what to do after all we've taught you to do is be subject to discrimination and slavery in your past. And now all of a sudden that you're not legally a slave anymore, you have what it takes to even recognize when you have opportunity in this country. That's a bad argument. It's not an argument that goes very far for an individual that has a past, not just an individual past, but a generational past of multi-generations that have been discriminated against and persecuted. We have to learn something from our past stories that we hold as dear. And in Christian Jewish America, we hold that story dear of how God took a people and established a nation. But what did it cost God to do it? And did God ever stop paying the fee of what it would take to teach the people that he loved a new way? There is a very small minority in this country that owns 99% of the wealth. They're the ones that need to be personally responsible right now. And they're the ones subject to the personal responsibility argument right now. Not the descendants of American slaves that were brought here from other countries and used and abused. That is not the same as Moses leading God's people out of a slave nation.